Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. What's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Wednesday as we are making the turn on this week already. Appreciate you making us a part of your start. If you are already up and at it, whether you are listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, available to stream up online at sportstalk1051.com. You've got your Alexa devices, your smart devices, the app, the Wisco Sports app. You can download it, take it on the go. Also, video stream is rocking and rolling right now on YouTube. So make sure that you are following the YouTube page too. So what do we have on our game plan this morning? It's a busy Wednesday. First off, we've got some Brewers chat coming your way. Brew Crew falling last night to the Mets, getting blanked, getting shut out by the Mets 4-0. Quiet night for the Brewers offense, but you got to tip your cap to the youngster Thornton for the Mets, going 6 innings, just giving up 3 hits, and then the Mets locking it down after that. Only 1 hit given up by the Mets bullpen. That was Devin Williams in the final frame. So Brandon Sproat picking up the loss. He went 4 2/3, giving up 2 earned runs, did issue 4 walks, but Bryce Wilson helping out the bullpen and finishing things up, going 4 innings. So I think the bullpen should be pretty healthy and ready to go for today's rubber match. So Brewers still have a chance to win this series coming up this afternoon. 1:10 is first pitch. Logan Henderson is going to get the start here for the Crew, but it's an intriguing pitching matchup between Brewers and Mets because you got Christian Scott slated to go for the Mets. And 13 games so far this year, 2.87 ERA and a 3-1 record. So we'll recap last night's loss, even though there's not really a whole lot to talk about there. Pretty quiet night, especially from an offensive standpoint. Kind of a little bit of a weird game for the Brewers, but and then we'll take a look at today's rubber match. Also, a little bit of adjustment. Initially, looked like Jacob Misiorowski's start was going to be pushed back at least a day when they announced their upcoming series against the Rockies. But then it's like, nope, Misiorowski back on a normal rotation. So originally it was going to be Sproat was going to pitch on 4 days rest, but I don't know if it was error or what, or they changed their mind. But because there for seconds yesterday when that was revealed and announced, it's like, oh no, something going on with Misiorowski. But that's right now, knock on wood, all is good. So we'll talk plenty of baseball here this morning. Again, as we get set for this series finale coming your way. What else do we got on the docket here this morning? We'll talk some. Well, we're going to do an early version of Inside the Training Room, brought to you by Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. That's coming up just past the top of the 7 o'clock hour, so under an hour from now. A little early version. I definitely want to hit up talking about Brandon Woodruff's injury with Dr. Austin Crow. So that'll be coming up just past 7 o'clock. 8 o'clock, we're going to be chatting with Ty from Slab Factory, as we normally do every couple weeks in that. So we'll get to that fun conversation. You ever have any questions, by the way, for Ty from Slab Factory with card collecting industry, any tips, any advice, any thoughts, please send those on over. Please send those on over. Well, Ty would love to talk about that and help answer your questions. So hit us up on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, with a quick text at 715-830-1912. And as always, you can hang out in the Section 105 chat room. So that'll be coming up at around 8 o'clock this morning. 1 week from today, Packers fans, bikes will be rolling. Players, massive human beings will be riding little kids' bikes to a football practice. 1 week from today, we've got training camp officially beginning for the Pack, the first practice. So we'll continue our countdown to Packers training camp, taking a look at some of the top storylines, things to watch. Today, the Panthers and the Cardinals are the first NFL teams that have their veterans report to training camp because, well, they are two of the teams that will be getting things going earlier on because they play in the Hall of Fame game on Thursday, August 6th. So, we'll talk a little football here as well. Since it is Wednesday, it is a What If Wednesday. So give me your best what ifs. You guys have been awesome at this. Give me just some fun sports version what ifs. What if scenarios? All right, keep it sports related. Send them on over so that I can pass it along to the rest of our listeners. What's a good what if that you'd like to throw out there? Also, it is a what are we doing here Wednesday? The sports story out there, item, issue, sports related, where you're just like, what are we doing here? Again, the example I kind of used, it was a grind my gears yesterday, but probably would be a better, what are we doing here is like Tom Brady, WWE. Really? What are we doing here? So, and we know it's about the money and that, but still, what are we doing here? Come on, Brady. Really? WWE? But got anything else? Hit us up. Good ones, best ones, I'll read up on the air. So, let's get things rocking and rolling, though, this morning, shall we? We'll take our first break and get things going here on the leadoff. Talking some Brewers. As the Brewers falling yesterday to the Mets 4-0. Rubber match, though, coming up later on this afternoon, 1:10 first pitch. We're talking about 7 hours from now. Brewers looking to win the series for an off day tomorrow, where they will welcome the Colorado Rockies for a 3-game series starting on Friday. But first things first, let's take care of business today, going up against the Mets of New York. That's where we'll begin things here on the leadoff. After we take this quick break, we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Looking for your next great night out? Well, make it at the VFW Post 305 right here in Eau Claire with live music, exciting events always happening at the VFW Post 305. Great food, cold beverages, and a fun, welcoming atmosphere. There's always a reason to stop by, whether you're meeting up with friends or looking for something fun to do. The VFW Post 305 has something for everyone. And make sure that you are following the VFW Post 305 on Facebook to stay up to date on all their latest events and entertainment. Check them out today. Maybe time for a little breakfast. Doesn't breakfast sound really good right now? Oh, gosh, it does. We had another game last night, but so it was late night coming back and, rewinding, starting the Brewers game from the beginning. So Brewers breakfast sounds really good right now. So that's the case for you. Make it a point to stop at the VFW Post 305, located 1300 Star Avenue, right here in Eau Claire. Let's get things going here this morning on the leadoff, shall we? Brew Crew last night, kind of a weird game last night for the Brewers. Pretty quiet night for the Brew Crew. Offensively, just a few hits, no runs. Brewers falling 4-0. 4-0 loss for the Brew Crew. Might be just one of those games where you tip the cap to the opposing pitcher, the youngster Thornton, who was on last night. 6 innings, 3 hits, issued just 1 walk, no earned runs, 2 Ks. After that, the Mets bullpen shutting it down, only 1 hit given up. And that was Devin Williams in the last frame. So Brewers not able to have another come-from-behind victory. Brandon Sproats going just 4 2/3, giving up 2 earned runs, did issue 4 walks, also struck out 4, gave up a dinger. Bryce Wilson keeping the bullpen largely refreshed with going 4 innings last night to close out the game. And now it sets up for the rubber match this afternoon. 1:10 first pitch here for the Brew Crew. And you got Logan Henderson going on the mound, going up against Christian Scott. First up, Logan Henderson, the last we saw him was Friday against Miami. Went 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 4 strikeouts. And this was his second start since returning from the injured list. He got a start before the All-Star break. Back on the 9th, where he picked up a win, he went 5 1/3, 3 hits, 3 earned runs. Before that, we know he didn't pitch. His last game was end of May 22nd against the Dodgers. So looking to see Logan Henderson continue to maybe stack success, continue to put together some solid performances, back-to-back solid performances, the consistency part, because Logan Henderson is right now a big part of the rotation, a big part of hopefully a long postseason run if the Brewers get to the postseason. Brew Crew need Logan Henderson to be one of their top arms, top starting arms. So looking at today, hopefully he can continue to put together a string of solid starts, consistent starts. And, in 7 games, feels like he's played more than 7 games for as much as we've talked about Logan Henderson, but just 7 games, 7 starts for the youngster. Only 33 1/3 innings pitched, too. So, not a lot of innings on that arm for Logan Henderson this year. And hopefully that's something that could benefit this team once they get to October. But in those 7 games, he is 3-1 with a 2.97 ERA. On the flip side, the Mets going with Christian Scott. He has started 13 games this year, just under 60 innings pitched total. But he's had a solid year here, too. 3-1 with a 2.87 ERA. He's coming off of a win against the Phillies back on the 16th, where he went 5 2/3, 3 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Before that, Royals, 5 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. And then on the 3rd, against the Braves, he only went 4 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, did issue 4 walks, and had 7 strikeouts. But when we look at Christian Scott here, so far in the month of July, even with that game against Atlanta, in 3 games he has a 1.84 ERA. June, he appeared in 3 games with a 3.68 ERA. Month of May, in 6 games that he started, 1-0, but a 2.79 ERA. No familiarity between these 2 offenses going up against both of these pitchers. So be interesting to see how this one goes. It looks like on the surface, on paper, maybe a little bit of a lower scoring game. But how many times have we said that and it ends up being an offensive shootout sort of deal? But it should be another tough test, I would imagine, for this Brewers offense. Hopefully they can give some early run support, though, to Logan Henderson. And hopefully Logan Henderson's got his stuff here tonight. But, again, first pitch, I should say this afternoon. First pitch, 1:10 here for the Brew Crew as they look to win this series. Have a little bit of an off day tomorrow and then get back at it on Friday going up against the Rockies. So that's kind of your preview. Kind of looking ahead to that. But, yeah, I think the biggest thing outside of a win for tonight is looking at Logan Henderson continuing maybe to build up and stacking that success, stacking those consistent starts. Because he's going to be a big part. He has to be a big part of why the Brewers will hopefully have a deep postseason run. We have some injury updates here with the Brewers. So Sal Frelick underwent an arthrogram on Tuesday and will seek a second opinion before the Brewers set a timeline for his recovery. Pat Murphy saying the first opinion was not anything major in terms of new news. We knew he had some stuff in the labrum, some rotator cuff irritation, so nothing that seemed to be earth-shattering, but he's putting it out for a second opinion. Going to ask Dr. Crow his thoughts on this, too. Kyle Harrison is scheduled to throw a live batting practice session on Saturday, simulating 4 innings, then would make a minor league rehab start on July 31st if all goes well. So we're looking at a potential early August return for Kyle Harrison. DL Hall is scheduled to make his next rehab appearance for AAA Nashville today, but still has some other hurdles to clear before the Brewers can bring him back, including pitching in back-to-back games. Brandon Lockridge was set to travel to Texas on Wednesday to join the Sounds on a rehab assignment. But right now it's pretty deep outfield depth, so I don't know if there's going to be a big rush for him. David Hamilton, it sounds like he's going to be returning here very soon as well. He began a minor league rehab assignment, playing 5 innings for AAA Nashville last night. And if all goes well, he will be back with the Brewers by the end of the week. So probably just a little bit more for that backup depth purpose infield, getting the speedster back, and maybe one of the team's best bunters over there too. So Jacob Mizorowski, there was a little bit of maybe concern when the Brewers revealed their starters for their next series coming up here, because it looked like initially that Brandon Sproat was going to pitch on 4 days rest against the Rockies to give Jacob Mizorowski at least maybe a week between starts. That was initially what was released. However, that has been changed now. So let's pump the brakes a little bit. Jacob Mizorowski will start on Sunday, and Sproat will be moved to Monday. But I think, I probably wasn't the only one. I'm sure a lot of us were like, uh-oh. Anything going on? Because, Pat Murphy did say the word concerning yesterday surrounding, was it after the game the other night, Monday, about Jacob Mizorowski's short start. So, but the fact that he's going to be starting on a normal rest should be a good sign, all things considered. But all right, let's take a quick break. Oh, Living a Dream Jeff, good to hear from Living a Dream Jeff. Been a hot minute. Says, I've always asked this for decades. What if the Packers would have drafted Barry Sanders over Tony Mandrich? What if? That's another good one. That draft class, the first few picks. Not only Barry Sanders, you could throw in a couple other dudes in there too, right? Dion was in there. I know Aikman was the first pick, but yeah, what if? What if the Packers, that would have been fun. Number 20, retired by the Packers. Would number 20 be up in the Lambeau Field facade? I know there's a big trickle-down effect to it. So it doesn't necessarily mean Favre would have been there and maybe White, but could you imagine that team if they had Favre and Barry Sanders lined up behind him? Man, that would have been fun to watch. Barry Sanders was one of those, I know a lot of people. My best friend Jake is a huge Barry Sanders fan. I just remember all the time in elementary school he would wear a Barry Sanders jersey. But Barry Sanders, to me, is probably one of those players that even though he played on a division rival, a division team for your favorite team, like a lot of us are Packers fans, but you liked Barry Sanders, even though he played within your division. And I think that's rare. I think that's rare in sports to, because we have these built-in rivalries for our division teams. And I get it. At that time, the Lions, not at the level of Bears and Vikings for a lot of us in terms of heated rivalries, right? Although I still remember as a youngster in the 90s, hey, we held Barry Sanders to -1 yard rushing. And, that was a nice, bragged about that all the time as a youngster. But Barry, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but for a lot of us, like, I loved watching Barry Sanders. I hated watching him when he was with the Packers. I didn't want to see, or going up against the Packers, you didn't want to see that. But, man, some of the slow-mo replays, highlights, you're all probably thinking about some of them right now. I'm thinking about the one with the Patriots. Dude was insanely talented. He was so fun to watch, and not a showboat by any means. And I think that resonated with a lot of fans. So I think it's rare. Like, if you're a Packers fan or a fan of any team, to admire maybe another player from another team, it was like, oh, that was one of my favorite players, even though he played on a division team that, a team that's within my favorite team's division. That's rare. And I think a lot of it just had to do with the fact that, well, two things. One, he was super good, dang good. Two, not a showboat. Just kind of a quiet dude. Not a me guy. Right? I think that's a lot of it. I think the what if, you can, since you threw in Barry there, what if he doesn't retire early? Is he the rushing king? Is he the one that holds the rushing record and not Emmitt Smith? I think, is it almost to the point too? Oh man, I hate to say this, and I almost feel at times, maybe from younger fans, Barry get a little underrated. No offense to Emmitt, he was a good runner, but I mean, you put Barry Sanders behind that Dallas Cowboys offensive line, whew, be running for days. He definitely would not have retired early. Man, there's a lot of different things we could do with a what if when it came to Barry. So that's a good one, Jeff. Thanks for throwing that on over there. Keep those coming. What other Wednesday what ifs do you got? Hit us up. All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Nobody plans for an accident, but when the unexpected happens, you want a team that you can trust. And at Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, they are proud to be locally owned and operated, providing quality collision repair and hometown service to drivers throughout the Chippewa Valley. Their experienced team takes pride in every repair, treating your vehicle with the same care and attention that they would give their own. When you need collision repair that you can count on, choose the people who live and work right here in your community. That's Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire. Locally owned, locally trusted, and here to get you back on the road. All right. We had Rando chiming in here. Rando from Chippewa Falls on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line, saying that I was at the game with the Pack I was at the game that the Pack held Sanders to negative yards. Went with my dad. What a game. First Packer game when I was 15. That was, for that being your first game to go to, that is definitely a heck of a first game to go to. So, nice. Continue to send us some more what ifs. Sun knows on over. Text it. 715-830-1912. We got a couple more on the Section 105 chat. Good to see that rocking and rolling here early this morning. We've got, is it Kent says, what if the Packers hadn't beaten the Cowboys twice the year before to have two more wins, and Barry Sanders hadn't stated that he would not play for the Packers if drafted by them? Okay, they got that one out there too. And Barry Sanders said, was that Barry that said that, or was that Dion that said that? What if, Bo says, what if CC Sabathia stayed with the Brewers? I remember, I don't know how accurate this is, but I think if my memory serves me correct, I think the Brewers offered him a contract, but I think everybody knew that it wasn't going to be, in the ballpark of what the Yankees gave him. But I thought it was like a 5-year, $100 million, so it was like $20 million deal. But yeah, I don't know, because that was after that 2008 season. That was 2009, 2010 years were kind of like the Ken Maka era of Brewers baseball. Wasn't great. But, I mean, the way CC Sabathia pitched and the way the dude's a Hall of Famer. So you're maybe talking about, probably probably at least one of those 2 years they're in the playoffs. But then can you imagine that 2011 team? Now, I don't know if they would have been aggressive and still trading for Zach Greinke, but could you imagine that 2011 Brewers team? Let's say CC Sabathia signs for a few more years. Say he takes that 5-year, $100 million deal, whatever it was. And the Brewers still get Zach Greinke, that 2011 team. CC, Greinke, Yo-Yo. I would think that one would be a team that might have won the World Series. You'd think, but man. I know a lot of these what-ifs that we throw out there, too. It's like, dang it, what could have been? You know, you're thinking about, dang, what could have been some of the greatness stuff. But, I think there was a little bit of hope for as much as he talked about and loved Milwaukee. By the way, CC's son signing with the Brewers yesterday. So, Sabathia's kid, who was drafted by the Brewers in the 20th round, did sign with the Brewers. So, yeah. There's another what if, that 2011 season. What if, like Sean Markham's arm doesn't fall off? I just remember watching that Game 6, and you can see it before Game 6. It's like, oh, no, he doesn't have anything in the tank. Fatigue. What if they beat the Cardinals in that series? Darn it. Is that David Freese, too, that team? Obviously, Pujols, but still. What if, right? What if? Got a couple more. Live a dream. Jeff says, "What if the Packers would have hired Belichick instead of Sherman?" Was that even a possibility? Was that a possibility? Maybe. I think Bill. I don't know. I don't even know if that was. I'd have to. Who knows? What if? Okay, how about this one? What if? Go back a little bit earlier on this one. That was actually at Ron Wolf tried to get Bill Parcells before Mike Holmgren. What if, let's say, that Ron Wolf in Green Bay was able to hire Bill Parcells and you don't have Mike Holmgren? Now, Bill Parcells, Hall of Fame coach, but does he have the same success in Green Bay, or does Green Bay have the same amount of success as Mike Holmgren did? I think a big factor in this thing now, too, that we'd have to consider is the effect that Holmgren had on Favre. Now, we know Wolf was a big Favre guy. But Bill Parcells, would he have been able to put up the first couple of years with Favre and, just kind of the growing pains of Favre? Would he have been good with that? Would he have been able to deal with that? That's the other thing. It's easy to say, well, Bill Parcells, yeah, they still would have won a Super Bowl. But would Favre have been Favre if Mike Holmgren wasn't there? I would say no. I'd say if Bill Parcells got the job, if he took the job, if he wanted the job, because it kind of sounded like that was Ron Wolf's first choice. If Parcells takes that job in Green Bay and no Mike Holmgren, I don't think we'll get a Brett Favre. Brett Favre might still be traded to Green Bay, but I don't know if Favre has the career that he has under Bill Parcells. Mike Holmgren was a big factor, big reason, and the coaching staff that he put around him. Because that's the other trickle-down effect in this thing, too, right? Mike Holmgren, who does he hire? It's the Mariucci's. It's the Andy Reeds that had worked with Favre. Bill Parcells ain't hiring those guys. Now, it's not to say that could have still developed into. No. I'm trying to make the case. Nah, I don't see it. So I don't see it. Good ones, though. All right, keep those coming. You can text those if you'd like, 715-830-1912. Brewers-wise, again, back at it today, 1:10 first pitch. 1:10 first pitch. You can listen to the game on the radio dials of 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Coverage will begin 35 minutes prior. Brewers will try to go for the series win with Logan Henderson getting the start. Speaking of baseball, shout out to the Express. 6-game winning streak for the Express right now. 12-2 victory over Waterloo. They got another game against Waterloo tonight. Off day tomorrow for the Brewers before they hit up Wausau for a 2-game series. Then Thunder Bay for 2 more games, and then they'll return home for a long stretch at Carson Park next Tuesday. But the Express holding on to to first place in their division in the Great Plains East. They continue to do that, they'll clinch a playoff spot. But, man, I don't think there's a hotter team right now in the Northwoods League than the Eau Claire Express. They're just firing on all cylinders. Offensively, getting some really good pitching. I mean, you take a look at it, they're 15-4 on the season. They hold a 3.5-game lead because Lacrosse is in second, and the Express are 3 games ahead of Lacrosse. But Lacrosse won the first half, so they've already clinched a spot. And right now, you look at best record, second half record across the Northwoods League. The Express have the most wins, 15-4, and the best win percentage with a 789. Wilmer's 14-4, 778. Lakeshore, 13-5, 722. And if you do it as overall, both seasons, or both first and second half, the Express they're tied for the most overall wins, 33. St. Cloud has 33. Wausau has 33. They'd be second in the Great Plains East behind Lacrosse, 31-16. So, because Lacrosse would have the advantage for win percentage. But yeah, the Express, they're playing some really, really good baseball. 9-1 in their last 10 games. Keep it going. Keep the train rolling. All right, we got to take our final break for this first hour. But we'll be back after these quick words. The countdown to fall sports is on. From Friday night football to volleyball, soccer, and cross country, athletes across the Chippewa Valley are getting ready to compete. But when injuries happen, getting the right care matters. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine specializes in helping athletes get back in the game with expert orthopedic care, sports medicine, and treatment that you can trust. Whether you are a weekend warrior or a high school athlete chasing your goals, their team is here to help keep you moving. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, your partner in staying active, healthy, and ready for the season ahead. We're going to catch up with Dr. Crow coming up just past 7 o'clock for a Wednesday edition of Inside the Training Room. I want to get his expert opinion on the Brandon Woodruff situation now that we know he is undergoing another shoulder surgery. Just, the odds of a comeback after having a second surgery in just the last couple of years with that shoulder. So curious to get Dr. Crow's thoughts on that. Coming up at 8 o'clock, too. Got a busy Wednesday coming your way. We're going to catch up with Ty from Slab Factory. So if you have any questions for Ty when it comes to the card collecting world, hey, hit us up. Would love to pass those along to Ty when he joins us for a little bit, starting at 8 o'clock. I know they've got the big card show, the National, coming up. Is it next week in Chicago? So anybody by chance going to that or have gone to that before? I've thought about it for the last few years, but yeah, I'd kind of like to still partake in it. So I want to talk to Ty about that. Maybe that's something to do in the near future or something like that. But I think it'd be cool if you're a sports fan to see all that different collectibles and not just cards. And I've seen like videos and highlights of it, but I'd probably add that to my sports bucket list. But yeah, I'm just kind of curious if we have any listeners that have gone to that, experienced that before. Let me know. Share your story if you do. So, but that'll be coming up around 8 o'clock. It is a What If Wednesday, and a lot of you have been hitting us up with your what if scenarios. Keep those coming. That's been a lot of fun. A lot of Packer-related ones here, but that's okay, as we are 1 week away from training camp practice opening up for the Packers' first practice. We have veterans reporting today for the Panthers and the Cardinals because, well, they get things going before everybody. Their Hall of Fame game coming up on Friday, August 6th. So veterans reporting for those two teams, and they'll be getting things going here pretty darn soon with practice. So, but we'll continue some Packers training camp countdown stuff before we hit training camp. We're actually working on, I'll be hopefully going over there next month to cover some stuff. So more details to come. I know a couple of you have inquired about the Fantasy Football League. More details to come. But what I think I'm going to do here is probably put out a sign-up form, just like if you're interested in playing. Don't text me right now and say that you're sick, because I'm going to lose track of that. I'll put up a form, and I'll put it up on my Facebook and put up on the socials, just so I can get an idea of how many people are going to do it, so I can figure out how many leagues we're going to do. Because I want to make a few of them if we get enough input, kind of like a 715 fantasy football thing going on. So don't hit me up with a text or message right now. I'll put up a sign up. That way I can keep tabs of everything. Make it easier to handle that way. Okay, so look for that on the socials. May even send out an email if you're a part of the Sports Talk Nation, where you get some email blasts once in a while. So may do that just to get an idea again. So, all right, a few more texts coming in. Brewers wise, we have David saying, excited to see Logan Henderson continue to ramp up. I think he is a wild card player for the Brewers in this second half. If he can pitch at a high level, the Brewers will be in pretty good shape, in my opinion, when it comes to their starting rotation with him, Mizorowski, and when Kyle Harrison comes back. Another texter chiming in here says, who do you think without Tariq Skubal would be a pitching target for the Brewers? I mean, we've thrown out different names. You know, Peralta has been a name that has been talked about. Ryan from the Twins is a name that's been talked about. So I think we're still at the point that we don't know who's going to be sellers. We don't quite know that yet. Like a few weeks ago, Sonny Gray was mentioned as a possible trade target for the Brewers. Boston's not going to trade right now. They're hot, and they're right back into the playoff chase. And when you look at where things are at, it's anybody's game. But we'll dive into that a little bit later on here. We got to finish up with Morgan. Good morning, Morgan.
Did you get a new cardboard cutout of yourself? So now we have Double Dan's in the corner. Mm-hmm. You double down on Double Dan?
I did not do that. That was gifted. So
by who?
Just a friend of mine.
Well,
for my birthday. So
okay, nicely done. Can I take a guess?
Sure.
Josh?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes. The Budweiser gave it away.
Mm-hmm.
I figured it might be.
Yeah.
All right. So Wednesday wild card. You got to pick a number.
By the way, I should mention, you lost the deep dish thing. It wasn't even close yesterday.
What?
So
we're going back.
You need to improve your choices.
What? Everybody's saying thin crust?
Yep.
You have that many people that are wrong listening to you?
A lot of people said, who wants to eat a pile of dough with cheese? So, which I agree with.
No way.
Yep.
I thought for sure there would be more deep dish lovers in the mix.
Nope.
You guys, you're killing me, Smalls.
Nope.
All right, you're killing me, Fins. Pick a number between 1 and 32 on the roulette question table today.
31.
All right, Casper, tell us, what is the most important life lesson so far?
Why do we got to go to these deep stuff?
Okay, I'll give you this. Deep?
Yeah.
Like deep dish?
Yuck.
I'm telling you.
No.
How about this?
Important life lesson?
Yeah. Besides that you're wrong about pizza.
I'm not. It's the majority.
Okay, here's the thing. We won't dig too deep into philosophy. Answer me this. What's the last thing you changed your mind about?
The last thing I changed my mind about? I don't know.
We'll do a couple. How about we'll do a couple different sectors. So, like, here's an example. The last thing I changed my mind about for food, sauerkraut. I used to hate sauerkraut.
Yeah, I was
now
like that.
it's
That was a few
legit.
years ago.
I'm like, I changed my mind about sauerkraut. Look at me growing as a person. What's the last thing you changed your mind about?
Food-wise, would probably cauliflower rice.
Oh, River Valley weight loss. Thank you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what about sports? What's the last sports thing you changed your mind about?
I knew he was always good, but I've really grown into being a Kobe Bryant fan now.
Really? Posthumously?
And I will say he's better than LeBron.
Okay, so give me this. Why the posthumous praise? Just because you're seeing more highlights of his work, or do you think it's because you have changed what you define as good as a fan?
I think it's just more comes out about his work ethic that we didn't hear before, or I didn't
Okay.
hear before.
Okay.
Kind of like the Jordan Last Dance
Yeah.
documentary where you're like, oh, dude, okay, that's
Now,
That's